This is a story about two women who from the outside seem to have it all. They're young, gorgeous, and living the high life in Hollywood. The two party at the most exclusive nightclubs while rubbing elbows with celebrities and gracing runways. One of them is a model, the other a talented designer. Both are absolutely beautiful. But everything came to a tragic end on November 13th, 2021. 24-year-old Christy Giles was a model working her way up the Hollywood ranks. But that wasn't always the case. The Sun.co.uk reported that Christy's mom described her daughter as a free-spirited young lady and Southern girl who grew up in Alabama. She enjoyed riding horses, fishing, and even shooting guns with her dad. In school, Christy was a successful soccer player, scouted by colleges, and was reportedly so good that she even played on the boys' team. Christy was also an all-county track star who loved to run up to 6 miles a day just for the fun of it. Her mom says that when she was signed to a modeling contract, she had to decide between that or professional sports. Christy chose modeling, but she continued her other passions. Her stunning, exotic looks with wide-set eyes, a sculpted face, and dark wavy hair made Christy stand out in her small southern town. The very same captivating looks led to her modeling career beginning when she was just 14. Christy Giles was also a runner-up for Alabama Teen USA. She was one of the few models who made it, soon getting gigs in LA, where she eventually moved. She was a little different and stood out in Southern California. She had a bohemian heart, and her mom reportedly told the Sun.co.uk that Christy could have easily been a flower child at Woodstock. She donned flower crowns, loved to wear flowing dresses, and even chose to get married in a ceremony at Burning Man. Christy's equally free-spirited husband, Jan Silliers, is an accomplished photographer whose social media accounts are covered with artsy photos of his beautiful wife. He was in San Francisco on the 12th when Christy and her designer pal, 26-year-old Hilda Marcela Cabrales-Arzola, decided to hit the town. They started out at the uber-trendy Soho House in WeHo or West Hollywood, a spot reserved for the who's who of Los Angeles. There they spent time dancing before hanging out with friends at a warehouse party in East LA. There's a video of Christy and Hilda at the warehouse party. They look happy and in good form. According to the Sun.co.uk, a man at the warehouse party invited Hilda, who was single and had just moved from Mexico, to an after-party. The message boards say that this mystery man is David Pierce, and the word on the street is, he's nothing but bad news. It's very important to note that everything we discuss about David Pierce is hearsay and speculation. You are innocent until proven guilty. A spokesperson for the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner Coroner says, Christy's cause and manner of death is pending results of additional information and testing, and police aren't saying much about how she died or the details surrounding her death either. Has been doing some investigating of his own, and he told ABC7 Los Angeles that he thinks he knows exactly what happened and that there's a video to prove it. He says CCTV footage shows 3 men dressed in all black, driving a black Toyota Prius, pull up to the hospital and drop Christy's body off. Their faces were shielded by bandanas, and their plates had been removed from the vehicle. Then, 2 hours later, similar-looking men dropped off Christy's friend Hilda in front of a hospital in West LA. She too was reported to be dead, but miraculously, the doctors were able to resuscitate her heart, and Hilda is currently in critical condition fighting for her life. Unfortunately, due to the lack of oxygen to her brain over an extended period of time, Hilda reportedly has very little chance of recovering. Published reports say the designer had large amounts of heroin in her system, but people who knew Hilda say that this is not something she would have knowingly consumed. Christy's husband reportedly told ABC7 that While he believes his wife died of an accidental overdose, he suspects it was foul play.
The loss is just so hard.
Cilliers says there's video of a car without license plates and men concealing their identities, placing her body there. One of the friends Giles was with went home. The other friend, Hilda Marcela Cabrales-Arzola, who goes by Marcella, was left at a different hospital 2 hours later, Kaiser Permanente in West LA, where she's in critical condition. Cilliers and Giles share their locations with each other for safety via their cell phones, and according to the friend who went home early, the two girls met some men while at a party in downtown LA and ended up at this West LA apartment building.
I've got all the messages that she exchanged with anybody else that night, and she was texting Marcella, the girl that she was with, at 5:30 saying, "Let's get out of here," with like the wide eye emoji.
So what could have gone so wrong that night? Let's look at what we know so far. This is a parent's worst nightmare, and Christy's mom, Dusty, is understandably still in shock. She talked to the son about what she's heard. She believes her daughter and Hilda left the warehouse party at about 4:45 a.m., but she believes they never made it to the official after party. According to the Daily Mail, we know that at around 4:30 a.m., Hilda sent Christy a text asking if she wanted to do a line of coke. Christy responded with, "Yes, where are you?" Hilda replied, "I'm backstage." Christy's family expects the same results from their daughter's toxicology report later. It's true. There's no sugarcoating the facts. While we don't know much about Hilda, Christy had an ex-boyfriend who once got hooked on drugs while they were together too. He got out of rehab, and then the next day he overdosed and died. Christy was adamant that she would never ever take heroin. Her mom says Christy once told her about friends who OD'd by taking harder drugs. She said, "It's crazy, Mom. They lace this stuff with fentanyl and people do it once as a party thing and they're dead." Her mom had no idea that that conversation would be so foreboding. So whose apartment were Christy and Hilda partying at, and why were they seemingly so keen to leave? This is where we get back to the central figure in this case, David Pierce. In the age of online reviews, this guy doesn't even have a 1 star. Some posts read,
"He is a worthless loser who rapes girls because he cannot get laid. One is pressing charges right now. He will be behind bars soon."
They say David has a reputation for taking advantage of young women and that he needs to be stopped. And people have been saying stuff like this online since as early as 2012 as far as I can find. And it probably doesn't help matters that Dave ran around with accused predator and alleged rapist, Ron Jeremy, who is currently in jail charged with 30 counts of sexual attacks and abuse. Reports on Facebook state that Dave even sometimes claims to be Ron's nephew. Now, all this could be made up and anyone could write this stuff, so who knows what the truth is. By the end of this tragedy, there may very well be more to this part of the story. When Jan woke up the next morning, his wife wasn't responding to his attempts to contact her, and he started to get worried when he didn't recognize the location her phone was displaying via tracking. After a while, he decided to post the address Christy's phone was showing on social media and see if anyone knew who lived there. David is also allegedly the owner of a black Toyota Prius, and in response to Jan's post, several people began reaching out to say that the guy that lived at that address was nothing but trouble. While the cops were at the apartment, they spoke to 2 of David's neighbors. I'll tell you what they had to say in a minute. But first, back to David. There's more. And before I tell you, I have to stress again that rumors are just rumors until there's proof. The Daily Mail reports that Christy's husband told them that David is accused of running with associates that attend snuff parties. Wait, what's a snuff party? Well, According to a TMZ interview with former Scorpions bass player Ralph Rickerman, snuff parties are parties where people pay upwards of $100,000 to witness someone get murdered. But later, Ralph released a video on YouTube claiming that this was TMZ editing a 25-minute-long interview to make it look like he was saying he had attended a snuff party by fusing different parts of his interview together, and obviously, that's quite likely a possibility.
And by the way, guys, if I ever really had been to a snuff party, okay, watch the video again from TMZ, I would have never said, I think they kill people in there, which is what I say. I would have said, I witnessed, I saw people get killed, which is absolutely not what I'm saying.
No, actually, I think they actually kill people there and stuff.
I'm saying, I think, because this came through a third person that explained to me about snuff parties that I didn't even know existed.
The author says, this story is by no means unique. Since Saturday, we've all received a number of messages from other females who claim to have eerily similar stories, except the only difference between them and Christy and Hilda is that they survived. Another 75-year-old neighbor also stated that a lot of people have been upset with him already. He makes a lot of noise and there are always people coming and going from his place. What happened to Christy and Hilda? Comment down below and let me know your theories. Were the ladies drugged and attacked? Or is it possible that this is all a big mistake that's being overshadowed by a desperate attempt to evade responsibility of an accidental recreational overdose? But what do you think happened? Or do you happen to know something about this situation that no one else is talking about? Let me know in the comments down below. Christy's mother, Dusty Giles, believes her daughter was drugged and involved in a sexually motivated attack before she died. Christy's father, Leslie, says she would have fought like hell if she was capable at the time. He's a soldier who served time in Iraq. He states, "My daughter would have fought like hell. And from my understanding from speaking to the emergency room doctor and nurse, they didn't see any visible bruises, scratches, or any indication of an altercation." Christy's husband is aware of a video showing 3 masked men pushing his wife's body out of a Toyota Prius outside the hospital with no license plate before speeding off. As of yet, the video has not been released to the public. Neither has Christy's medical and toxicology report. The family are also awaiting the results of a rape kit. The ending of this video will contain screenshots of the posts that indicate the allegations towards David Pierce. These are, at this point, unconfirmed posts found on gossip sites dating back years and shouldn't be ultimately considered at this time as an indication of David's guilt. This is just the information at hand right now. And again, I think it's worth being aware of. David Pierce hasn't released his side of the story. If he had, I would include it too. But for now, we'll have to wait.
Update number 1.
Just a couple days ago, 3 men were arrested in connection with this case. One of the men was 47-year-old Michael Ansbach, an ex-cameraman from the TV show Vanderpump Rules. And the second man was 42-year-old Brant Osborne, an extra off NCIS LA. According to the Daily Beast, David Murrieta Jr., an actor and stuntman, told the Post that Brant Osborne had boasted about the big weekend being the craziest weekend of his life. Osborne reportedly told Murrieta about the party. He said Christy and Hilda came back to the apartment and took a bunch of drugs. Osborne said he left the party for a while, and when he returned, David Pierce told him that Christy was dead. After checking her pulse, they decided not to call 911 and instead try to figure out what to do with her body. This man was clearly a serial predator of women and girls, yet you let him slide and now 2 girls are dead. It's not your fault, but you could have been the reason these lives were still living. What a shame. For what? To not be a snitch? To mind your own business? It was your business. But that's just my opinion, and nobody wants to hear that. Anyway, it's a big update and a massive step forward for justice. I do wonder if Ron Jeremy ties into this in some way, but I guess we'll find out. I hope David Pierce and the other 2 guys get exactly what they deserve. As for the families of both Christy and Hilda, Christmas and life will never be the same. I hope they find some strength in each other during this horrible time.
Update number 2.
Christy and Hilda's deaths have now been ruled homicides after date rape drugs were found in their systems. David Pierce has since been charged. He also is now facing multiple charges of rape dating back to at least 2010, including forcible rape and 1 count of rape of an unconscious or asleep person. He's even facing another charge of sexual penetration with a foreign object. His bail is set to $3.4 million. Apparently more charges are coming forward. Rest in peace, Christy and Hilda, as the fight for justice continues.